Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Today we're going to be talking about this fun question of how much would you pay for a phone. Of course, this last week we saw the Librem 5 $2,000 phone come out, and then an article actually just came out saying that less than 10% of people will actually pay more than $1,000 for a phone. So we wanted to kind of ask that question: what would you pay for a phone? We got some guys on. We got Dan and Vince right now. Any supporters will have a link in Patreon or Think Life Media. If you super chat regularly and want to jump on, send me an email and I will get you in. So, how's it going, guys?
Oh, fine.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. It's a 3-cup of coffee today. So, shop.switchedtolinux.com if you want a Switch to Linux coffee cup. And yeah, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee today. I usually stop at 2, but it's been a long day. It's going to be a long night. So, you know, probably another 3 a.m. day or something. But
is that all?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I mean, it was like 4:30 or so in the morning most of this week, because I did actually experience the fun Nexus 5X boot loop, which I'm starting to guess does anybody experience that on a 32 gig phone? Pizza had it. 16 gig phone. Of half a dozen of these things I've worked with, either for myself or other people, never experienced a boot loop. The first time I get a 16 gigger, I get a boot loop. So if you've had a boot loop and you have had a 32 gig Nexus 5X, let me know. I'm very curious to know. I will probably do a video sometime in the next few days about how I got that fixed, because so I kind of went on a fun thing this year. So here's the guy, and I was able to get it fixed. So the fun thing, if you get the boot looping phone, is you can put it in the freezer for a while. Now, there's 3 ways people say to get the boot loop phone back. For me, the freezer worked great. Zip it up in a plastic bag, set it right on top of my ice cream there, come back about a half hour, booted the thing up. That booted me into twerp. I was able to take a system backup. So I was able to take a backup of all of my data. And then I fought with it the first day, just getting it back to stock using the same methodology. I got it back perfectly. And it worked fine until the following morning. And then it looped again. So I'm like, well, this is not going to be good. So, jump onto eBay. And, $70. I got another one. Ooh, this one's the white one. Ooh, it's shiny. So I have another 32 gigger here.
I'm sorry, but I'm a bit slow. But what's the rationale about putting it in the freezer?
I don't know. So what happens with this phone is it's a 6-core phone, but apparently 2 of the cores get disconnected somehow, which is potentially linked to something disassembling during high stress heat, which doesn't make sense because my phone wasn't even being used when it boot looped. And so there's 3 ways. The first is put it in the freezer. I don't know why. I suspect it's because it
reduces the clock.
The what?
The phone's internal clock gets reduced because of the cold.
Okay, that's very possible. Now, the other one, can you explain this one, Dan? Option 2, heat up the phone with a hairdryer.
You're making the clock and the phone race faster than it's supposed to. So it starts stumbling and then it'll let you in.
Okay, and then 3rd way, let the battery run down to nothing, plug it in just long enough to get enough power to boot. That also gets it.
Again, you're glitching the processor by messing with the clock.
Okay. Yeah. So 3 ways.
This is what I know from working with other devices. It could be different for phones.
Well, that's good information. That's cool. But whatever the logical thing, the phone works for about 5 minutes when you do that. I was able to take a full backup system in twerp of just the data, because I thought if it's a corruption somewhere else, I don't want to mess with that. So I took just the data. And then I spent about the next 3 days trying to figure out the correct boot sequence of things to get it working. And now it seems to be back perfectly working fine again. There's a lot of different images. So basically what you need to do is you need to reflash firmware to get it to run on 4 cores instead of 6 cores. So in theory, the process will be, it won't be running as efficiently, which I actually haven't noticed because I really don't use my phone for much. So I haven't noticed any drop in performance. But once I got it back running, I was able to just run my data backup. I lost 0 time. I had the phone back exactly the way it was before the boot loop. So now I have an extra 32 gigger though, so we're good. And just for extra fun, I ordered for $20 a broken phone with just a cracked screen. Everything else works fine, and I can get a new screen replacement here for $15. So I will have 4 of these for less than $200. So Yeah. What about Nexus
you're
5X? What
turning
about
in-
Nexus?
You're turning into a total phone mechanic.
So anyway, yeah, I will be doing some more videos on these. Some of them might be shown on cracked screens, who knows? But Quint, if you're around, I will take your phone build on Nexus 5X anytime starting, I think, next week, and I should have the broken phone in with a cracked screen. So that's been my week messing with phones. But again, I mean, this phone here, which just kind of came to me exactly as they described, I got this one from eBay, $70. I ordered it on Tuesday. And it showed up today, so 2-day turnaround. And everything, I did test everything. It does look good. I haven't flashed any software on it or anything, so it's still sitting there with stock spy software on it. So, but yeah, that's been my week. So yeah, late nights, and I will have some videos about the sequence and the files that I actually use. There's several different 4-core boot sequences for the Nexus 5X. I'll tell you the one that worked for me. So yeah, that's it. All right, let's see. Codelin says $50 with shipping. Pizza says $200 for an unlocked phone. Hello, Bruce Scott. Can you hear me now? I can. No, I can see you, Bruce. I cannot hear you. All right, Mitchell. Greetings. Fearless leader. Our fearless leader is here. We can go. All right. Have a good son. He takes care of the phone for me. $0. There you go. The bookworm, $2,000 is reasonable. In what world? All right, guys, defend for me a $2,000 phone.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it becomes between paying my mortgage and paying other bills and buying a phone.
Yeah. So, of course, we're talking about this. Now, the stock Librem, like the standard Librem, is $700. But if you go down here, the Librem USA, $2,000. You know, I really, really would like to see a Linux phone come to the world. I am every day I'm losing confidence it's going to be Pierce.
I could put it on a credit card, but I'd get that stupid reminder in the mail every month for at least a year.
Yeah, which is kind of, I mean, this thing's not particularly good specs either. I mean, it's older specs. Now, of course, we do have the Pine phone, which is significantly cheaper, so we will have that as an option, which I'm not sure is shipping yet. I don't remember. Is that shipping yet or not? But that's only priced at like 150.
I think it's shipping to developers.
Okay.
Mm. But that Librem phone, it's exactly the same specs as a regular Librem.
Mm-hmm. The only thing they're saying is it's made in the USA. Now, the problem is they're still outsourcing the manufacturing of the parts. They're just, I guess, assembling it I don't know.
Most of the parts are US sourced. There's a couple that aren't.
Okay.
But I mean, I see it as sheer arrogance, especially since I'm not US based. Like, what about the rest of the wider Linux community that aren't US based?
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you think a battery would last in a normal phone?
I mean, 1 hour, guaranteed, just 1 hour.
No, I mean over the life of the phone.
Yeah. Oh, like how long? How long?
3 years?
Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3 years would be good.
Okay, let's go 3 years.
Now, at least the Librem does have a user replaceable battery, which is good. Because it lasts 1 hour, I'm told.
You would, if your battery lasted you 3 years, let's say, and you paid $2,000 for a phone, that's $55 a month you're paying on that phone.
Now, like we said, at least this one, you can get a user replaceable battery. But I mean, the Nexus 5X has a user replaceable battery. It's just more complicated to replace. And they cost $6 to replace the battery. Maybe $6 plus shipping.
I think what Librem have done is they've just completely misread what people want or need. If they were to come out with a good phone, I think everyone would jump on board and get it. And their reasoning for what they're trying to do is great, but I think they've misread what the market wants.
If that battery in that phone lasts you 2 years, you're paying $83 a month for that phone, plus the contract to run the phone, which in most cases is $50 or more. So let's put it $60 as an average. I screwed it up. Well, nevertheless, you get the point.
Yeah.
You're carrying around a multi-$100 piece of equipment in your pocket that's always racking up money.
Yeah, I agree. That's interesting. So, I mean, I'd hope that it'd be good. I'd hope to have a great Linux phone, but it is starting to look more and more like a Ponzi scheme as the days go by. Because as of right now, it doesn't make phone calls. I'm told it lasts 1 hour on battery right now. And I mean, I don't know.
1 hour on what's it doing? Making toast?
Apparently. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on the Librem 5. There's been some wonderful memes coming out about it. So
I think I sent you one of them. The video
yeah.
with the guy.
Yeah. And he just released an updated version of that today. I watched.
Oh, really?
It's amazingly comical. I'm just like, that's just glorious phone. So,
then you got Apple and Samsung, and they want $1,000 for their phone a piece also, and that's kind of ridiculous.
It is, but at least their phones, have a semblance of goodness and function the way they're supposed to function.
Like for $2,000, if it had, I don't know, maybe 4 screens and it folded out to maybe replace my laptop, and so I could carry one device and then fold it all the way down to a phone, I might pay $2,000 for that if it replaced my laptop as well.
Or if it was more than think about this. It's a quad-core phone right now. The Nexus 5X 5 years ago is a 6-core. The Apple is it 6 or 8 core? I think the iPhone is 8 core now. I don't know what the specs are on the Galaxy, but I imagine it's more than 4 quad. Apple has what's the Apple's RAM? It's significantly higher than 3. Maybe it's 6 or 8 or something. Samsung's going to be a lot more. These do have an external USB storage capacity, so that's good. And they do have a headphone jack and no notch. I'm on board with all that. The cameras are older, significantly older. So it doesn't have a lot to it right now. Definitely not enough to justify the cost.
Comparing it that way is not entirely fair because chip designs change and core designs change, and you may not need as many cores for the same level of performance.
Okay, but look at this. The iPhone is I think the iPhone is a 2.5 gig. iPhone is like a 2.5 gig processor, and this is only 1.5. And for some reason, my YouTube chat died.
And the iOS uses the memory much more efficiently, so it seems.
Are we still? Can you check are we still streaming? Apparently, my entirety of YouTube just crashed on me right now. Let's see if
it's moving on my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I can still see a stream
on my end. All right, let me. All right.
I see how your chats.
The strip down the middle with the people typing chat's kind of missing. It's just a white box.
I'll tell you. Between YouTube, what they've been doing in the last couple days, and between what Chromium has been doing in the last couple days, I'm pretty sure that we are effectively right now at that phase of time when this is your monthly reminder to go watch The Selfish Ledger. I think that Google is taking their time to put their tentacles around everybody at this point in time. I mean, I'm doing weird stuff going on. Do you guys notice now you can no longer go into a video, select it, and say, I'm not interested in this channel anymore? Which was my fun tip to get rid of having USA Today keep popping up.
Wait, let me try it on Switch to Linux.
Yeah. That's right. Telling you, not interested in this psycho.
We're getting confirmation that people are still seeing us stream. So
okay, excellent.
That's good.
Yeah, so if you go down and just find any sidebar video, Hangouts just died. What in the world? All right. Here's what we're going to do, guys. If you're still on, I don't know what in the world is going on with Chromium. It's been doing weird stuff. We're going to switch to Firefox. So if you guys can hang tight, switching browsers. Okay. Okay, are we back? I cannot hear anything. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Connecting, connecting, connecting. Yeah, this is exciting. So apparently, now Firefox is just sitting here like connecting, connecting, connecting. Not sure why it keeps connecting. Let's just go ahead and try it again over here. All right, pull you out, close you, reboot you.
That's
Hey,
my
are we
YouTube.
back? Are we back?
Oh yeah, we're back.
Greetings.
There.
I have no idea what's going on. If it's, like I said, maybe it's crazy YouTube going nutsoid. Let me fix the web browser view in this so that we can get us back online. Ah, really? Are we back again?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you are.
Back?
You froze again for a second.
I know, it's the Chromium keeps crashing on it. Like it's not Chromium crashing, it's just Hangouts is crashing. Like something is going on inside of the Google verse.
I'm currently on Vivaldi, but
I am
it's the same-
too.
same
Well,
engine.
I tried to switch over to Firefox and it wouldn't connect on Firefox. So like they're blocking Firefox apparently.
Hangouts normally doesn't work on Firefox.
I've never had a problem with it. This is the first time I've ever had an issue with it. Wow. Let's see. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Which rabbit hole? How old is my current cell phone? That's a good question. How old are you guys' current cell phone? Of course, I'm running on a Nexus 5X and a Nexus 5X and a Nexus 5X. But
I've got a Galaxy S8, so that should be coming to about 3 years now, and
Yeah,
still working like a dream.
good.
Yeah, me too. I got an iPhone 7, paid a fortune for it. It's 256 gigs of memory in it.
Mm-hmm.
So far, the battery's still holding up and everything else, so I have no plans to replace it.
Yeah.
I paid like $750 for that darn thing. It better last me the rest of my life.
At least a while, right?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? You're streaming. All right. Yes. We are still live. Good. I don't know. I might have to switch to Arch or something. I don't know. It's like things keep crashing over here. All right. And then I think when I first pulled you guys back on, it didn't look like desktop audio was picking up, but it looks like it's picking up now. So, Vonker is going to buy a Librem 5 USA. Let us know how it is. Oh, Fearless Leader says he sold a kidney to do it. Okay. Sounds good.
I wouldn't put it past it being a Hangouts issue. I mean, because I'm guessing that Google aren't really supporting it much anymore because it's due to die.
Yeah, I think we might need to jump over. So, I wanted to get my Nextcloud talk working, but there's this fight going on. Like, the Nextcloud is awesome, but sometimes the community is so pig-headed, like, they don't listen to external sources. So, so many people have said, you need to give us camera control inside of the application. Like, oh, no, the web browser can handle that. It can handle that if you have one camera on your computer. Right now, I have 2 cameras on the computer, and if I hook up the kitty cam, I got 3 HD cameras on the computer. What happens is it'll run fine, and then if there's a glitch, it glitches out, and you can never get it back because it keeps on trying to capture the camera you're using for something else. You can't pick the camera you're using. And so Nextcloud Talk is giving me an issue with multiple cameras. I have some things I want to test with it, but I don't know. Crazy. Before everything crashes on us again, let's go ahead and jump over and have a look at the article I sent out. So this was a neat article where from Ars Technica, fewer than 10% of Americans are buying $1,000 smartphones, and consumers in major cities are more likely to take the plunge than others. Initial impressions on that?
Fewer than 100 grand are making, or 100% of the people are making more than 100 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not surprising because $1,000 is a lot to spend.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's ridiculous.
There's a lady in one of the networking groups I go to down here in State College, and she's like, I'm working 3 jobs. She's doing Uber Eats. She's working at, a restaurant. She's doing, a full-time regular, full-fledged quote unquote professional job, which is what she's in the networking group for, and working all this because she wants to pay off her debts, but she's running around with the brand new latest iPhone. Every single time I see her, she's the latest brand new iPhone. It's like, stop. This is why you're in debt. Stop.
They roll it into their phone plan.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get to that. I actually found a fascinating article on that to chat about that as a separate aside. But
for the first time, the phone cost has outpaced the television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, there's also some interesting thing going on because the new Snapdragon chips are required to run a 5G chip in them, which is likely going to drive down performance while driving up the price of phones in the next year. Did you guys see anything on that?
I didn't hear that.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
So the Snapdragon new Snapdragon chips are required to run a 5G array on them. And it's brand new technology, so it's not going to run well. And 5G is just not that well supported.
Before they even think about 5G anything, they really need to increase our internet infrastructure in the United States. They need to give us some better options other than going with this 5G baloney, which will only work in the heart of many cities, and that's it.
Yeah, on the heart outside of on the streets in many cities, it's still not really going to work in the buildings.
Well, just before this stream, I was just watching a new video from Linus Tech Tips, and he shows how fragile 5G is, and even if you just put yourself between the tower and the phone, you drop your reception, and if you stand underneath an umbrella, you can lose reception altogether.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
that's because it's 2.5 gigahertz of transmission wavelength, which is very close to what a microwave oven uses to cook meat. So they can't turn the power up on it very hard for it to go through anything, or it'll start cooking everybody.
Yeah. Now, did he specify which one he's looking at? Because there's kind of 2 bands to use on 5G. So like T-Mobile is rolling out the one that has more penetration. Verizon is doing the one that pretty much will be stopped by a piece of paper.
He stated in the video that it was sponsored by T-Mobile, but the phone he was using was from a competitor.
Okay. All right. Interesting. That'd be neat. So now inside here it says that the people in these cities are more likely to pay the $1,000. Why is that? Why do we think it's the people in the cities are more likely to pay the $1,000 for a phone?
I think people in downtown New York and stuff like that are used to paying outrageous prices for anything.
Habit. Okay.
Seriously, I think it's just to impress your friends.
Okay.
That's it.
That's where you get in the New York thing because you're around people and other people have these devices, so you feel you need one too to fit into the clan.
Yeah, or the business, impress your business client. Look at me, I have the shiniest new phone. I must be successful to do your business with me. I'm like, I do my business with people who are more intelligent with how they spend their resources. You know, so. And somebody left a comment here. Chris Titus did an excellent video asking maybe this $2,000 price point is aimed at government contractors. I'm not sure I'd agree with that. One of my biggest clients is they sell this type of technology to government contracts. And while some of the prices are quite expensive, I don't even think the government's going to throw $2,000 at a phone when there's, Apple or Samsung have a longer, more tried and true track record and are half the price. Outside of the one valid point that he made in his argument was, he made several, but the one major valid point that I could also agree with is that it is assembled in the United States and government contractors may need that type of thing in light of the Huawei and other things like that, which I think all the Huawei stuff is just to boost the American companies personally, but I don't know. That's a thought.
When I was working, my company particularly used iPhones because they could lock down the security on them
Hmm.
much tighter than
Hmm.
they could anything else. But
Hmm.
they didn't buy new ones. They bought refurbished ones that were 2 or 3 models behind the
Hmm.
current one coming out.
Yep.
There are plenty more companies making security-focused phones that governments could use. And
Hmm.
if I found out that my government was spending that much money on phones, I would seriously be knocking down their door and
Hmm.
wondering when the next election was going to be.
Yep. Yeah. That's
Because
that's a valid point.
that's our money. That's my money.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I agree. So, like, I get a chance to see some of the orders going through the sites when I'm testing the site out, since I'm the major point person for that site. And you see the money coming in, going out, and but it's all for very specialized hardware. It's not like a Linux phone is not particularly super specialized hardware. It is, but it's not, in the sense that there's other things that you can do. But we're talking about really selling a lot of more in-depth stuff. So, I don't know. Let's see. I can only dream of 100 grand a year. Yeah, can't we all? Almost sound.
What I was thinking about was that, I mean, the requirements that people have in their phone, I think probably for me anyway, plateaued out maybe like a few years ago. Like, there's
Mhm,
only so much RAM or memory that you need in your phone, how much storage
mhm,
space you need, how fast the processor needs to be, unless you're playing a lot of games.
mhm,
And so, as technology advances, I should be expecting to actually pay less and less for my phone,
mhm.
right? Not more
Correct.
and more.
Yeah, and that is one of the arguments in the article, is that, yeah, the fact is, the phones from a few years ago, like when first cell phones first came out, like smartphones first came out, I think I got my first smartphone in 2012. So I think the smartphone started coming out in 2010. So about 2 years later, I bought a smartphone. And even then, going from my first one was a Galaxy, or not a Galaxy, a Casio Commando, right? I went from the Casio Commando up to an iPhone, and an iPhone, I think I said it was 4 at that time, came out. And the technology had still moved so much further in there. But then when I went from the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 5C, the technology really didn't move much. In fact, most of
Hmm.
the movement of the technology I'm not interested in. Okay.
Hmm.
My first phone was an iPhone 5, and I thought it was the simplest thing to use. It was fairly easy to figure out until they started. I got this iPhone 7, and every time they put new updates in it, it's like they hide everything. It's like,
Hmm.
it's getting impossible to figure out how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't want there to be deep integration. So if I look at the iPad that I just updated, which is underneath stuff, let me grab it for a second. All right. Somebody's doing something outside my window and it's loud. It's quite distracting. All right. So on top of changing all the other stuff in here, now we have, if we go into the settings, we have, like, deeply embedded in the system, Apple TV,
That never
books,
used to be there.
podcasts, Game Center, TV providers. Of course, I think we probably still have, is Facebook still embedded in this thing somewhere? I'm sure it probably is. I don't see it right here. But it's like, okay, I want to turn all this crap off. I am not buying Apple TV. I'm not using Apple TV. I don't use my iPad to sit here and watch TV stuff.
You
Why
probably
don't I
got
clear up the
Keynote.
memory and just delete it, But you can't. You can't.
You got GarageBand, Keynote, a bunch of other junk they just added you'll never use.
Yeah, let's see. Let me check. My current crap folder contains Find My Phone. It's an iPad. Can't you brand this right? In fact, this is hilarious too. If you check, there's one spot I was trying to get Safari to stop prompting to remember passwords and stuff. Went through all the Safari settings, and everything's turned off there. It still keeps on giving me the prompts. Well, you have to go down, but in the pop-up, it tells you go to accounts and passwords to fix this. Well, they changed the title of that. It's no longer called accounts and passwords. Now it's called passwords and accounts. And so it tells you to go somewhere that doesn't exist on the phone anymore. So they're giving me that. The AirDrop handoff. I don't want it at all. I won't use it. I don't want it at all. I don't live in the Apple ecosystem. And there's just so many things on here. It's just like, just let me uninstall all this crap that I don't want. And that's why I run Lineage on my phones, because I don't want this stuff. Like, you get your phone from Verizon, the NFL app. Excuse me? I care enough about football as I care about, I don't know, a pile of dog poop in my front yard. Why are you bloating my phone with this crap that I can't uninstall, really? I mean, I get if you like sports, I don't care. Enjoy. I don't want the bloat.
I think it's bloated in terms of features, but Mitchell, I'm not quite sure I would agree with that. I think iOS, in my experience, definitely makes more use of less RAM than an Android phone does. When I compare my phone to my wife's iPhone, I found that the iPhone, and she's running an iPhone 6.
Mm-hmm. Well, there we went again.
It might be bloated in terms of its features and apps, but I think it still runs fairly efficiently underneath it all. But then that leads me to the point of, because if we're talking about paying for phones and buying phones, I think we need to have a discussion about longevity of a phone and how much support it gets. And that's another thing to Apple's credit. I'm not trying to sell more Apple products here, but Apple do support their phones much longer than all the Android manufacturers.
Yeah. Now, if you jump off, so like Google stopped supporting the Nexus in December of last year. Lineage is still supporting it to this day. If I go into Lineage right now, you'll find a daily build probably for this week. And in fact, I know.
But then the problem with then having to load your own, the problem with loading your own ROM is that you've got to have the know-how, and 99% of people will not do that.
Yeah, maybe.
I gotta have a phone that just works. It's my only phone.
Let me defend this point, though. Would somebody or should somebody pay a local business to go and reflash their phone for them if the wide availability was open?
A phone flashing service?
I think we might have lost Vince.
Have you lost me?
Oh, I think you're back now. Okay. So going back to your point, Vince, what about should phones be able to be easily unlockable and run your custom ROMs so that you can, if you don't have the know-how, go and pay for a service? Because there's a lot of things we do that we don't have the know-how or the capability. I mean, we don't have the tools to change our tires, so we go and swap our tires at the local automotive store. Should I be able to take my phone into a local kiosk at the mall and have them reflash a new version of an OS on my phone?
Oh, yeah, I'd totally pay for that.
Yeah.
I would rather go to a brick and mortar store and have them do that. This place at the mall could fold up any day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, Apple has the sleep switch. Here you go. I like that. Toggle it. I do, and I think when I first had I got so used on the commando to pushing the button and sliding the thing over to turn it into silence mode. I didn't know how to do that on the iPhone. Like, how do you do that? Oh, it's the switch. And then I switched from the iPhone back. It's like, I don't know how to do that anymore. Oh boy. So, Jeffrey wants to be able to just remove bloat in most Google apps. All right. So I did find another article. This was a hilarious article because I had to stare at this and go, are you this dense, really? So the era of $200 smartphones with 2-year contracts has ended. And the article title is Paying Full Price for Your New Phone is a Good Idea.
Excuse me?
Yeah. The era of a $200 smartphone with a 2-year contract has ended. You can take a moment to mourn this milestone, but could this actually be a good thing for you? The surprising answer is yes. First, let me explain what happened. This past week, AT&T and Sprint joined T-Mobile and Verizon in eliminating 2-year service plans for phone subsidies. And I'll mention this article is actually a few years old. This is January 2016. So we're pretty old, but it's an illustrative point on the thought of consumerism. So if you're a current Sprint customer, you can renew your contract, get another subsidy, but new customers have to sign up on either their Sprint lease plan or Sprint Easy Pay plan. Meanwhile, AT&T says it no longer will offer 2-year contracts to anyone who isn't a business account. Now, no carrier offers a contract plan. Instead, you buy that fancy new phone, regardless of the carrier, you'll end up paying on some sort of monthly installment plan. That is the arrogance of our American consumerism, right? It's like, stop walking around going, what can I put my payments on this month? Like, no. Here's a thought. Why don't you buy something you can afford without putting it on payments? Let me read that sentence again. Instead, you buy that fancy new phone, regardless of carrier, you'll end up paying on some sort of monthly installment plan.
Okay.
Providing you have
$70. $70, no installment plan.
I agree with the thinking that.
Sorry, Google hates me today.
It ends up being a lot cheaper.
Okay, start that sentence again because my browser crashed again. Google Hangouts keeps crashing on me.
I get that, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've always bought my phone outright, and then went on a BYO plan.
Yep.
So that you're only paying for your calls and your data.
Correct.
That ends up being a lot cheaper, at least here anyway.
Yeah.
But why would you pay a monthly installment plan when the other way you can do it is just put $50 into a bank account every single month, and you end up with $1,000, to buy whatever phone you want.
Correct.
And you're earning interest at the same time. You're not paying interest.
Yep.
That's just being smarter with your money.
Correct. Yeah, but most, I don't know how it is over there down under, but over here, people are about as dumb as rocks when it comes to managing their money. So,
yes, we are the original land of confusion.
Oh no, I think we take after you guys quite well.
I can say this. Let's do a couple points of clarity. When you go into your at least Verizon, I'm sure the AT&T and other ones are like this as well. When you take that phone and you buy it, you're not getting any discount, but you're not paying interest on it either. You're basically taking the cost of the phone and dividing it over, the 2-year length, of which time eventually you'll just, trade it in before it's even up, and you will be paying a fee on your phone perpetually. But in theory, there's no interest. We'll say that first. But at the same token, if it comes to the point where you absolutely have zero other choice, you have to finance it, go to Walmart and get a phone for $30 that you can get there. But anyway, if you have to finance it, you put it on the store contract instead of on the credit card because you're not paying a monthly interest rate on it. To be honest, but you shouldn't do either option. But what I find funny about this article, the reason I wanted to include it, is you had no thought to say, save up your money or think about what you're spending or buy a smaller phone to not have to pay more. It's no. Don't worry. No matter what, you're going to be paying a service fee for your phone. Like, no, I haven't done that probably since this article came out. And Vince's plans were the best. Buy a phone that you can pay for and bring your own phone to your plan. That is where I've went with Verizon. Started to do that about 3 years ago, because I said, what if Verizon goes crazy? And when they go crazy, I'm locked into their plan. I am now sunk. Well, as of this last month, I hereby declare Verizon has gone crazy. I'm jumping ship. I will be jumping ship flawlessly. My boat is already alongside Verizon. I will do it right at the precise moment I have decided. I will wait until it's done. I will jump on over. It will be a step over, and then Verizon will go sailing this way, and I will be sailing this way. Because I brought my own phones, I figured out how to do plans, and I've tested another carrier that I'm going to be switching to. And as soon as I do my one final test, which is taking this thing up through the other half of the state, then I will be testing out the phone in as soon as I do that test, and I assume everything's going to work great, we are porting over to that new carrier. And I'm going to be saving about pick a phone, right? Let's see how much I'm going to be saving. Somebody say something, well, I'll tell you how much money I'm going to be saving.
$40.
Say something.
Oh, see? Yeah, there you go.
$40.
So I will be saving about $500 this year by switching to a new carrier. It's a lot of money. I mean, if I do that in 4 years of doing this, I can pay with the savings for a Librem 5 phone.
I was close. It's 480. I said $40 times 12 is 480.
Phone plus phones rented from AT&T and otherwise is a problem unless you can find the original ROM. Yeah, the biggest problem, like AT&T, I'm not sure, but I believe AT&T pretty much perpetually locks the phones now. They've always have. I think Verizon, in theory, you unlock them, but if you want to be getting a phone to do a custom ROM, buy it directly from the manufacturer. Get an unlocked one. Or if you're buying a new phone, check out Best Buy. Everything Best Buy sells is unlocked from any carriers. So you should, in theory, be able to unlock the bootloader and do with it what you want, I guess. I'd have to double check that for sure, but that's the place to check.
Now, if you get an unlocked phone and you go and have it put on provider, do they lock the phone?
No, because the only thing that runs your phone these days is the SIM card. So I can literally take the SIM card out of this phone, put it into this phone, and the carrier doesn't know the difference. The only thing that matters is the SIM card. Yep.
I think I'm going to try that.
Yeah, so that's what I did with testing this phone, because I got this one in today, paid $70 for it, got it in today. I'm like, well, I want to, before I leave feedback, before I declare, hey, I'm all happy about the phone, I wanted to test everything. So I plugged it in. I threw a song on here. I threw a movie on here. I plugged in headphones. I actually popped the SIM card in. I checked all the radio signals, and everything looked good on it. So then I swapped the card back to the other one. And I think what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be making a mirror of my primary phone on the new phone, because I really like the layout and the setup of the primary phone, but I think the radio is dying in it. So I'm going to probably port that phone over. Boards, let's just embark the Verizon ship to the lifeboat and say goodbye. Oh, no, I'm not going to the lifeboat. I'm jumping off the Verizon lifeboat and jumping onto the yacht.
Yeah.
Librem 5 buy now. No. It should say Librem 5 buy when it's assembled. AT&T has 2 carrier types. You can't use AT&T prepone on AT&T mobile plans. Uh-oh. So you got to be careful. Most of particularly your prepaid plans, you can type in the IME number on the prepaid plan and see if it'll work. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. AT&T, I'm pretty sure AT&T uses SIMs. A friend of mine has AT&T. He has the same phone I have, and he's using SIMs, but I don't know. Verizon Wireless postpaid started locking phones this July for a 60-day period. Yeah, if you buy a phone from Verizon, it is locked for 60 days, even if you pay it outright. Yeah, everyone, I think Verizon charges $5 to replace a SIM card. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. That's all the stuff I had about this phone. So I guess we got to get down to that final answer to that final question. What is your upper budget limit for buying a phone? Dan, what do you think?
Well, I depend on my phone probably a little more than you would think I do. I mean, I'm old. I've had a stroke. I have trouble with things. I asked Siri to spell a lot of words for me. So I kind of depend on that feature. The iPhone, there are some apps. There's a FLAC app you can get that makes its own little memory space in the phone for that app only. Mm-hmm. And you can load all your own music in that little space, and that player will only play in that space. Mm-hmm. I like that feature too. The earbuds that come with the iPhone are second to none. They fit right in your ear and they stay there, and you don't hear any noise outside. So I often I got some really soft music in the phone. I put the buds in I can take a nap or whatever's going on outside, I'll never know.
There you go.
So for them kind of features, plus I have the NORAD weather app, radar app, so I can tell if something's going to bear down on me and destroy my house, or if it's going to be cold one day and sunny the next, for the weather app that's supplied for it. So I use my phone. If you think, taking account all them little things, I would go probably $400 top end.
Okay. All right, Vince, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Dan. I've always been looking at the features that I need for the phone, like a headphone jack, like a certain amount of storage space for photos, and I'd base my buying decision on that more than anything else. And like I was saying before, these days, with everything getting better and cheaper, I should expect to pay less than I paid for my previous phone each time I buy a phone. So if I paid what would be equivalent to about $600 US dollars for my current phone, I'd expect to pay maybe $5 or even less for my next phone.
Okay. All right. Anna Rita, hello. And Anna Rita says $250. Codebellion, upper limit budget for a new phone would be about 60 to 80 US. I'm not sure you can buy a new one for that much, to be honest. In fact, I looked at Verizon. The cheapest phones available were the non-data flip phones. They actually started at 100. And they still want to charge me a $40 upgrade fee to take a smartphone off my line and put a dumb phone on that I'm paying cash for up front. Yeah, see what I mean? Verizon's lost their ever-loving mind.
That's just plain dumb.
Yeah, so I'm paying you cash up front for a phone to downgrade to a flip phone, and you want to charge me $40 in addition to the full price I'm paying for the phone right now? Do I look like I have stupid tattooed on my forehead? I'm sorry. I'm going to go down to Walmart right now because I think that's going to do me better.
Something I get really annoyed about is that if to get one feature, you need to then buy a completely different phone that's way more expensive than what you actually really need, and half the features you don't need.
Yeah.
All right, that annoys me a lot. But one thing I forgot is one thing I'd pay a lot more for would be a good camera on the phone. I think that's almost indispensable these days.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, just like your flip phone thing you were just explaining, I get the feeling from all these major corporations, we got people in think tanks, and they're treating us like some kind of financial science experiment. How much will they take and absorb before they push back?
Mm-hmm. I think that is a lot of it. How much can we do? How much can we push them before they go over the edge? Jeffrey Amherst, 400 to 500. Mitchell says as high as 1,000, but it would have to be a truly awesome phone. Okay. Arthur says you can get a cheap phone at Dollar General for 30 to 60. There is a lot. The biggest problem with those cheap phones is they are very cheap, but they're also super, super tapped into like every spy network that you can't turn off. There's a big risk with taking those, but anyway, go ahead, Vince.
I had a thought, but I've lost it. I'll come back to me.
Well, let me know. My limit is like 200 is about the most I would pay, but even then I really don't even really spend that. And a lot of the newer features on newer phones, I'm not interested in. Like, I'm very happy with what I got and, using the custom ROMs because for me, all these new features they keep on doing are like, we're embedding AI to give you phone suggestions. Please don't. They're already doing some phone suggestions, and I can't find a way to turn them off. It's like, stop annoying me. If I need to do something else on my phone, I'll make it happen. I don't want you to pop up suggestions for me. I don't want all the AI stuff. I don't want all these new gestures. The gestures on this new iPad version are driving me crazy. I accidentally push something, the whole thing goes something. It's like, dude. So, I sound like an old fogey. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But at the same time, I don't want a lot of these new features. I'm really thinking about moving back to the dumb phone anyway, but
Well, they're pushing the envelope on the software with these things to the point where it's just it's unusable because you got to do stupid things that don't make any sense whatsoever to get something to work you want it to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, try remapping a Nexus 5X down to 4 cores. That took me 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was thinking about now.
Yep.
About features. I've been following a little bit about these newer phones now that are actually going backwards in features. Things like the light phone and minimalizing what features you get in a phone so that you get down to the bare essentials again of sending text messages and making phone calls. None of this online stuff, apps, GPS tracking, none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that to be a very interesting movement.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So like way back, when was it? It would have been like 12 or so years ago. I got a geocaching, right? This was really before smartphones were a thing. And I was actually, I was I think, number 6 geocacher in my whole state. We did a lot. Me and the number 1 guy in our state, we actually took a trip down to North Fork, Utah one day. We picked up 100 geocaches in one day together. It's like fun things. But back then, you still had the GPSs. You still had to manually log stuff in. And then the GPSs moved up to the point where you could actually save your logs and leave it's a little clunky, but you could, get in there and save your log files and upload them. And you still had to manually put them in, but you got to text file to do. And then what happened around 2012ish or so, we started getting the geocaching apps on the phone where you could get out, you could do all your basic stuff, you could snap the photos, do your selfie with the geocache right here, and then upload it literally from your phone when you're still in the field. Amazing technology in that sphere, but that's about the time I pretty much stopped getting into it because it started, becoming too normalized and some crazy stuff. But nevertheless, at that time, this is when the smartphones were starting to advance, and then people started putting too much into that. And now I think we've gone so far over the line, I can see that pushback to start and try and remove some of those features. And I think we need features with phones with less features in them again. I'm on board with that, except when I'm out and about. I do like to check my email and stuff if I'm out and about, but I could do that with a hotspot and a tablet, really.
Yeah, they don't know this, but we figured out how to use all those features against them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I could check my email 10 years ago on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it doesn't work any differently now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I use my desktop computer for email only. That's it. I download it. It's my mail. It's in my computer. If I need to dig it up 20 years later, it's still there.
Got Linux says $700 tops for him. Love taking pictures, so camera quality is mainly what you're looking for. Very good. Anna Rita got a Galaxy A20 for $250 at Best Buy because he had a $100 gift card. Very good. Glad to be an old fogey rather than the security holes involved with smart ones. There you go. Yeah. Watching this video on a 60-pound Motorola. Very good. There you go. Okay. Budget. Yeah. All right. Maybe they'll just get by with a pager and a digital camera. There you go. What do you think, Vince? Pager and a digital camera?
What do it look like from the 80s?
Yes. It'd be a big thing, the digital camera.
Star Trek communicator.
Yeah. It's like, I have, let's see, I have a small portable digital camera, but it's at a friend's house right now. I do snap some photos with my phone. So if I'm out and about, I'll use my phone for photos, but I don't store any phone photos on it. So I'll just snap the photos, come back, dump the photos into my backups. If I know I'm going somewhere where it's good stuff, I'll just use my camera that I use for, my good videos on this channel. Using that camera works great.
I use my camera for my failing memory. If there's a brand of something I purchased and I really like it and I can't remember what the name of it is, I'll take pictures of products and stuff like that. So when I'm out and about and I'm like, what was that item I really wanted? I'll go through my pictures and there it is, and I'll know what to get.
Oh, nice. There you go.
That's not just you, Dan. I've done that myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, hey, just say now, since I'm old school, I had a brand of vitamin that I like. So I just tore the box apart and just took the front of the box and threw the rest of the box away, so I can remember which one it is.
When I've gone out and I've been at restaurants and we've been having wine or whatever, I've got photos of wines that I've liked to keep a track of.
Because they don't always write the names on the bottles that great, so you can remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I did a big wine website for somebody recently, and there was a lot of interesting names in wines. Like, I don't even know how to pronounce these words. Where's this thing going? I don't know.
There's thousands of wines out there, and if you don't take a picture of the bottle and you really like that wine, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't drink at all, so. But anyway.
But the same principle applies for everything else.
Chad V says the new geocachers are cheating. Probably, I don't know. Depends. In the camp now goes for FXOS. What's FXOS? Is that like? I don't know. What is FXOS, Code Ballion? Anyway, any final thoughts anybody has to say?
Well, for those that want to spend $700 on a phone, here's a $700 phone plus $50 for accessories. It doesn't have a headphone jack. I had to buy the little adapter that goes in the bottom of it so you could use anybody's headphones. But I'm like looking at this adapter, I'm like, give me 3 of those,
Okay.
But I paid this much for this phone because it has 256 gigs of memory, and and when I bought it, I like to go to a lot of concerts. And as you know, when you start videoing something, man, that memory goes real fast. So I at the time I was working, I had the money, it was no big deal. I put out a 750 hard cold crispy ones, and I'll take it, because before that I had the iPhone 5, and that was like with 16 gigabytes of memory. One video killed it.
Yep, that's true. Vince, final thoughts?
I'll just say, think about what you really need out of a phone, peoples, and don't overextend yourself. It's not a good idea.
Yep, absolutely.
You got to remember it's technology, and technology becomes obsolete sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. It'll die, and you just end up throwing it in the bin.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So yeah, I mean, if you have $2,000 and you want to burn it on a phone that doesn't make phone calls, Librem 5 USA is available.
Just
if you want to,
just think of the gaming PC you could build with that kind of money.
My computer only cost me like $800.
$900 to $1,000 will build you a killer gaming PC.
Yeah, don't forget the like button. Thank you, Mitchell. My final thought, of course, I will be streaming on my other channel in 1 hour from now. We are going to be talking about connecting with God. That is my Christian channel. The link for that is in the comments there. So if you want to jump on over and join me over there in 1 hour's time, I'll be having a look at that. And that'll be a fun one. And I think with that, we will wrap this show up. And we will catch you guys later.
Hit that like button.